on the track.
Well, it really struck me. Look, we are two guys with, yes, experience of running businesses, yes, experience of building brands, and yes, of course, experience of running, as in we're two runners. But we have had zero experience of apparel. And in those first few weeks and months, both of us, reached out to so many different people for advice, for one-on-one conversations, for introductions, for general chats. And I would say across the board, without exception, people have been really keen to help and share experiences and war stories. It's a really nice human thing that people are generally kind and helpful and willing us to do well. And that's been really just a lovely thing to learn when you're starting a new business. There are so many resources out there that you can soak up and learn from. I wanted to do a little name check really to a podcast that I found really useful, and I keep banging on to you, Dom, and I know you've started listening to it a lot, which is the Apparel Entrepreneurship podcast with Anna and Klaas Christensen. It's been just an absolute treasure trove. They interview people right from kind of startups through to founders of multi-million companies like Passenger Clothing, and I've just learned so much from listening to other people's war stories in the apparel community. Talking of community, Dom, you wanted to talk about the running community itself.
There's loads of people who are chasing the PBs, that are doing the track sessions, that are really trying to push themselves physically to be the best runner that they can be. And then there are other people who just want to get out there and run. And I say that because I fall into both of those camps. I'm very much about trying to push myself physically with running and be the best runner that I can be, a self-declared runner. But I also really love the social element of running. And alongside that, the not so social element, the fact that you're just running on your own to clear your head. And back to our famous catchphrase, running is release. So it is a very broad church.
And I think when we first talked about Run Riot and doing something in running, I think it was that idea that, for everyone that's on Strava or whatever other system you might use, there are countless other people who aren't and are just have had that relationship with running and need to run and are just getting out there and running frequently or infrequently, but have that relationship. And again, when we first started talking about this work just over 6 months ago, I think I said to you, I really want to be for people who run, not just runners. I think apparel development, when you first start out, can be really overwhelming, actually. And it's been quite a learning curve for us. I think we're somewhere very different to where we were day one. And, on paper, it seems super simple, doesn't it? You order some product, you whack a logo on it, and it's done. But again, in that very first kind of chat that we had about actually maybe there's something in Run Riot and launching something that people can believe in when we speak to this idea of running as release, we were really keen, weren't we, Dom, not just to do the easy thing. We wanted to create products that were not off the shelf, but that were really considered, that had a kind of unified design language, and that people could kind of look at and go, yeah, that's a Run Riot product. This, for those who can see us on camera, getting to this beanie that we have, this product would be quite simple. But actually, even with this, there's so many choices within a single product. What's the material choice? Wool, cotton, fleece, other blends. What's the fit going to be? Is it going to be kind of really fitted, kind of fisherman small fit? Is it going to be loose? Is it going to be slouchy? Is it going to have a pom-pom on the top? No, it's not. Then you get to logo. Is it going to be on a label? Is it going to be raised and rubberized? Is it going to be, what kind of stitching are you going to have? And then you get to, what's the knit pattern going to be, etc., etc., etc. And that's just this. That's just a simple beanie. And it's actually been a really fun learning curve.
You said it brilliantly there, that it's been fun. I would argue to a degree that it's been fun when we've gotten it right, which has been occasionally by accident, more often through iteration from something that wasn't right to getting it right. And fun, yes, Bloody hard work, I would also
Mhm.
say, is a huge part of it, and quite a large dose of luck. Ambiguity is the enemy of design
Yeah.
in this particular instance. I mean, it's not just ambiguity; it's just greyness generally. You know, like
Mhm.
if you do a design and you basically say it looks like this in your design sketches through to your tech
Mhm.
packs. And again, for those that maybe aren't familiar, the tech pack is a very, as the name suggests, a very technical set of instructions for the factory to take your creative ideas and make them actually materialize literally in material. So that process, though, there's so many areas where it can just go wrong. So you
Yeah.
talk about the colours. So anybody familiar with design knows that there are Pantones in materials. There are particular kinds of Pantones. But even with those Pantone choices, they change differently on different types of materials. So one
Mhm.
Pantone may render extremely well on a polycotton, whereas it'll
Yeah.
look absolutely terrible on an elastine or more elastine based fabric. So all of those things allow for greyness to creep in to what you thought was an absolutely cut and dry, watertight tech pack. And I think that's something that is, you just got to embrace that.
We've not made our life easy, have we? Like I've got,
No.
you can see behind me that I've got a t-shirt that we did probably week 2 when we were like, yeah, we're going to go and build this business,
Mm.
and we could have gone, that's fine, we'll sell that to people. But that's just not the way that we want to approach this. We want to create a product that is really, highly technical, highly performance driven for people who run. So we've really thought about all the different details within the t-shirt, the split down the side that allows it to go on a little bit easier, and there's a nice little touch. The crest that we have on it, the way that the paint stripe on the arm and the back kind of work together. We've really obsessed about that.
You talk about the sublimated tee that's right behind you, and you've got packaging
Mhm.
stuck on the cover behind. Behind me over here, I've got one of the strike offs. Again, what is that? It's a technical term for a piece of material where you've applied your design using a particular process. That's my favourite one. The colours are all wrong on it, but it's the right material and it's the right application. I think iteration 13, lucky 13,
Yep.
to get to where we are happy with the way it's sitting on the material, the fact that it's hard wearing, it stretches with the stretch and the weave of the fabric, etc., etc. And that's why I've got that one there. So I look at it every day and I benchmark everything against it. That said, we're changing the widths of those stripes to allow for a lighter application because that's a silicon application of ink. And then I've got the two beanies there, and then above my head, sat on my crash helmet, is the runner's hat. Again, all of these things we live and breathe with every single day, and we're running with a lot of these things as well to again just test it ourselves. And we've got a bunch of people that are testing for us as and when we get further prototypes through. Okay, I think we've talked almost too much now about the products, although it is our obsession. And I think it's fair to say we are obsessing
Yeah.
about the detail on these things. So if it becomes a bit boring, trust us, you'll thank us when you see the final products.
It's been really useful for me that starting a running brand has made me run more. And actually, for me, that's really useful. It's a side effect, by the way. It's not the primary reason that you would start a business, but but it's been wonderful because it's just really made me think I got to get out there and motivated me to run so much more regularly than I had been for a bit. And I've just really benefited from that. We talk about running as release. We really mean that. It's something that kind of takes us away from the stresses of running a startup, or the sort of everyday ins and out of sort of family life. It's something for us, and I've really enjoyed having that extra reason to run because you can't have a running brand and not really run much. That's ridiculous.
Before we started Run Right, you knew I always used to go out and blitz a 5K. You know, I'd literally do what
Mhm.
I'd call a lung buster around Bushy
Yeah.
Park, which is on my doorstep. You know, and I'd always be trying to just go, further south of 20 and occasionally south of 19 minutes. And I'd come back and I thought, great. And that's terrific. But going for a sort of 15, 20K slow run where you're just getting into that flow state and you're just in another little world is,
Mhm.
I would actually argue, is much better for me now, and I feel happier. Again, I come back to what Anna said at the in our last episode when she was talking about that sense of achievement. it can be winning a race, or it can just be, doing something that you've never done before. Your first half
Yeah.
marathon, your first marathon. It doesn't matter, but that sense of
It could be even
achievement.
simpler than that. It can be, I've woken up today and I really don't want to go for a jog. And then after lunch, you go, do you know what? I'm going to go and do it. It's as simple as that. And
But how
that's
many
the,
times, Ollie, have you said that? I don't want to go for a run, and then you go for a run, and you always feel better.
yeah, I think it's every time.
Yeah,
I'm going to go for a run after this, actually, a quick one. And I don't think I really want to, but I know that I'll feel good after it. So, but anyway, to conclude that one, I wouldn't recommend necessarily starting a business and a running brand to get you running more. I think you don't need to do that, but it's definitely been a lovely side effect for myself. And I think for you,